This show is brought to you by Directory.com, the safest way to hire a contractor.
And we are back. Next one is a nightmare experience from Iowa. Randy, I'll let you read this question.
Yep, this one's from @2nita Ellis276. Man, I had to read this twice just to make sure that I couldn't believe it. But they wrote, "I live in Iowa and just purchased a house a month ago. I did all the right things, inspections and all. It turns out I just purchased a money pit. After one rain, the basement is flooded. The roof is leaking in soft areas on the roof as well. Outlets not working. Doors aren't closing properly. Floor has soft spot. The list is longer than the medication I take for my cancer. Can't use my washer because the drain pipe is backing up. I had an electrician out to repair live wires that were hanging. I've paid an inspector I paid the inspector only to have my money returned back to me and not guide me through this. Please help. Should I be waterproofing the basement or the roof first? I feel lost. I can't imagine the amount of money I have to pay out for this." You know,
What a story.
the inspector is absolutely should be held accountable for this, not just giving their money back, but they need to take the inspection report and go speak to, and I'm not a litigious person, but they need to talk to somebody.
Are there laws for it? Like, can you should be able to sue inspector because they should be liable for some of the stuff. If you buy a house and they miss something, I mean, you would not buy it in the first place.
I get, and I'm biased here on being a roofer, but I could see maybe them missing a roof leak because, you're looking at a roof, you can't really maybe see, flashing that isn't done right or whatever. But some of these things are so egregious. Live wires, having to have an electrician out to fix live wires. Yeah, I would definitely have somebody look at this report and see how these things could have been missed.
I would say something on the inspection that you mentioned. Are they liable? A lot of times on an inspector, everything on their paperwork says not liable. They have to sign all of that. They don't really hold any accountability. I think one of the biggest people that are liable is a selling realtor. Usually they have a heads up on this. They work with this person. They're the ones that I would look at as being really liable. And then as to like what to fix first, I'm going to say the roof. Interior of the house is probably more important than the basement. So I'd fix the roof first. Honestly, too, on inspections, I would always have separate inspections. I would have a licensed roofer look at the roof, not a home inspector. They can never really see a lot of things that roofers are going to identify. So that's the first thing I would always say is hire a licensed roofer to look at the roof.
And I would take that a step further and with the realtor that you're working with, have them have a professional in the roofing space look over the roof. The HVAC system, have an HVAC technician give even if you have to pay a little bit for it from a seller's perspective,
Agree.
It's going to catch these things. Have a foundation guy come out and look at the foundation. Home inspectors, God bless them, they're doing their job, but they are not professionals in every single one of these trades. They are given some training and then they're sent out to do their inspections. And some of these guys have been doing it for 35 years. They have a lot more experience and they'll catch things, but it always is best to have a plumber, an electrician, have these people come out. Oftentimes they'll come out and do it for free because they want your business in the future for things they may find.
One last thing on that too, Dimitri, I just want to mention this. If you notify the city or the area that you live in, they a lot of times will actually make the realtor go out and help remedy the situation. That typically works really well. In this area, I've seen it happen.
Absolutely. No, well, I feel bad for the homeowner on top of cancer, on top of all things. Looks like there was almost like buy it as is. Like I bought my last house as is, but you're signing off like, hey,
Right.
whatever I find, that's on me. And this one is just, I feel bad.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next one. I had a fire. How do I know whether the insurance company is giving me enough to fix the roof? Great question. How do homeowners know? The only real damage was the fire department cut in a hole in the roof. Normally, I would just fill in the hole with a new plywood. Insurance company said to tear off the existing shingles and reshingle the whole thing. Is there any reason to change plywood on the whole roof? It looks in good shape where I can see the insurance company didn't give any money to replacing the plywood. It's probably a roofer the way I see it, because I don't think it's a homeowner who's asking it.
Well, I have some experience in this area, not only from the roofing perspective, I'm also a
Right.
17-year retired fire captain. And I can tell you that, and I've worked claims like this, and I can tell you that out of the gate, insurance companies generally don't pay correctly, not for malicious purposes, but just out of ignorance. They don't know what it actually took when a fire department stuck their hose down in that hole to make sure that there was no more fire. They wet all of the insulation in there, which could cause mold issues. There's a lot of carcinogens that are still inside the attic potentially, or in the drywall beneath that need to be remedied. There is such a person. Let's see, they're called a hygienist in the insurance world, and they come through and they will actually test to make sure you don't have anything left behind on the inside that can harm you and create cancers and things like that. So you do have, I would say at minimum, you need to replace the damaged area on the roof, but you want someone to take a really close look at the attic and make sure that the water that they used didn't create any additional damages that can harm you in the future.
Also, I used to work for installation company, and I know when smoke happens, installation sucks in smoke. We work on quite a few claims where we have to come in and suck. It's not mentioned in a question, but I would also argue that more times than not, insurance companies pays to suck in installation, because that smoke, that smell will never go away. Installation kind of sucks it in, and you have to remove it. So yes, it'll absorb the water, but also smoke. So usually those claims are way bigger, and it's not visible, but it's there.
Absolutely.
Funny part is he's looks like he is more concerned about plywood than shingles. Shingles to him, but do you think the shingles needs to be replaced if he doesn't see the damage there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think even the plywood can typically need to be replaced because it's compromised from the heat. So you can have it deteriorate a lot quicker and cause dips in the roof in the future. Most of the time on a house that has had fire on it, the plywood has been exposed to extreme heat and can go bad prematurely.
Yeah, because a lot of those have laminates in them,
Hmm.
especially if it's an OSB or what have you. The way that material is put together is a heating process, and so when heat is reintroduced to it, it does weaken the polymer, or not the polymers, but the adhesives in the product that can weaken that area of the roof.
Got it. Let's do one more question. We still have time today. I love this one. I'm interested in a metal roof, which seems to be touted as becoming the standard for all areas of the country. The info I've read so far seems to imply that manufacturers will be doing all the installs. It caused me to wonder if metal roofing does become ubiquitous. Will Chuck and the Truck, as you name them, or even smaller roofing firms be shut out of those installs, or will they be able, with the proper updated training, to do the metal roof install too? Interesting question. I don't actually see a lot of manufacturers installing the roofs these days. Do you guys see them in your areas?
No, we don't see manufacturers that install it. We do see things like watertight warranties where you can get that from the manufacturer, and it requires a process for the installer. But it's typically manufacturers do not install metal roof systems.
Yeah.
Do you
I wouldn't
believe
recommend
do you,
that.
do you believe that metal is the future and that's where we're going?
Here in Florida, we see it becoming a big part of the future. We've seen even the state move to maybe shingles won't work in Florida. So I do. There also are a lot of new products out there like Euro Shield that can be rubber and stuff like that that
Mhm.
can serve a good purpose besides metal. But I'm a big metal guy. I love metal. I think in Florida too, you can only put so many roofs on a wood deck. You only
Yeah.
so many nails in it. So a metal can solve that problem. We're starting to see that here in Florida.
Yeah, and in Texas, we're seeing a lot of stone-coated steel going on because with the metal roof, the standing seam, the R panel, because of the cosmetic clauses that are often written into a lot of policies, uh, the roofing system can get damaged but not compromised. And so now a homeowner has to live with their roof looking like a 16-year-old's face for the rest of their the time living there. Whereas with like a stone coated steel type of solution, because of the way that it looks on the roof, it's very busy, and so it hides smaller dings that wouldn't necessarily justify replacing the roof through insurance companies. And so it'll still look nice even with it having small dings in it.
So it just adds the character pretty much.
Yeah.
So I would say that metal is definitely, it's probably the biggest disruptor in the roofing industry. More and more asphalt shingle manufacturers actually invest in buying metal companies. So we have quite a few of them already purchased, smaller players. So the move is there. I mean, the asphalt shingles manufacturers were the biggest, 80% of the market, but now they kind of start dominating. But I don't see with this question, this person sees, I don't see manufacturers actually installing. So I think we're still going to have a lot of small mom and pop shops who will be installing roofs. Last question today, quick one. I live in Washington, WA, and built a tiny house, 24 square feet long and 8.6 square wide. I've now interviewed one roofer who have the jaw full of chew, which he kept spitting in the yard, and said it would take him 3-5 days to do a metal roof, and it would cost $4,270. Really? Ice and water, underlayment, and metal. What do you think?
Goodness gracious. Just the square footage of the house would denote about a 2-square roof. So let's double that with any amount of pitch. 4 squares for $4,000. That's extreme, I think, for a tiny home like that.
What do you think, Jason?
It depends on like how cut up it is and like what it actually entitles when it comes to the roof. You know, it's like one of those things I always got to look at first. It could have a lot of penetrations or wall flashings, stuff like that. So it's really one of the things like I would always put peel and stick down or ice and water before any metal. That's usually a good sign if a contractor wants to do that. Yeah, high temp peel and stick. I would always put that down before I do any metal. So that's a good sign. But it has to be high temp, like Randy said. It just says ice and water, and it should be a high temp peel and stick or ice and water.
Well, and let's address what they are talking about and why they're even asking this question in the first place. Had that person who was representing that company acted professionally on the onset of meeting the customer, they probably wouldn't have written any of this. But as soon as the guy's sitting there chewing on his tobacco, spitting it in front of the customer and all that, now it starts to question, is anything this guy doing professional? You know, if the basics of just how you carry yourself in front of the customer on initial contact is like that, then that's going to automatically. So this is a good point for the contractors out there to present yourself professionally. Otherwise, you're going to get the customer second guessing everything.
It's a $2,000 a square though, so it's a 2-square roof, $4,000 total. It's going to take him 3 to 5 days, metal and everything. I mean, he's making good money. He could be a little bit more professional. So
yeah, one recommendation on that: any roofer that likes to spit tobacco, I would not walk around the perimeter while he's roofing. It could be a bad deal for the homeowner.
I agree, 100%. You might be losing jobs without even knowing it. That's it for stories today, guys. If you have any questions for us, we'll be answering them next Saturday. You can text them all to me, 612-558-4881. We will respond to everyone. See you next Saturday. Stay safe out there.